She was 19 years old, and the people she had trusted since childhood were the last ones to see her alive.
911, where is the emergency?
Not emergency. Actually on the Belmar Bridge, right after heading south in the middle of the bridge, there's a car that's abandoned.
Her car was found abandoned in the middle of a bridge in the early hours of the morning, keys still in the ignition, no sign of where she had gone. In the days that followed, the people closest to her showed up to vigils, spoke to investigators, and helped search for her, doing everything you would expect from grieving friends.
What was her mindset last time you talked to her?
I just know she's been trying to get away.
What none of them knew was that someone in that circle had been secretly recorded, and that one conversation was about to unravel years of careful deception.
And the worst part is, we threw her off the bridge, and the body never showed up.
This is the story of Sarah Stern and the people who had been planning her fate for months before she ever went missing. In December 2016, the Belmar Bridge in New Jersey crosses over Shark River, a shallow inlet leading toward the Atlantic Ocean, and it is not a place where a car is typically left abandoned in the middle of the night. When an Uber driver noticed a vehicle stopped on the bridge and called 911, police were dispatched, expecting a minor traffic issue. Instead, they found an unlocked Oldsmobile 88 with the keys still inside, registered to a 96-year-old woman named Lillian Stern, while her 19-year-old granddaughter Sarah, who had been driving it, was nowhere to be found. What began as a routine call quickly became a missing persons investigation.
911, where is the emergency?
Not emergency. Actually on the Belmar Bridge, right after heading south in the middle of the bridge, there's a car that's abandoned.
So what kind of car is it?
Kind of looks like an old beat-up, light tan-colored, sedan.
And what was your name, sir?
If it's okay, I'd just rather be anonymous.
Officers arrived at the bridge and found the car exactly as described, parked in the roadway with the doors unlocked and no note, luggage, or sign of what had happened. Sarah's father, Michael, had been in Florida on vacation and had not heard from his daughter for 2 days. By the time police traced the car back to Sarah, concern had escalated into a missing person investigation. To understand her state of mind, investigators spoke with those closest to her, and one of the first names that came up was Liam McAtasney, a childhood friend she had known since they were 6 years old after meeting in Sunday school. He was immediately cooperative and began giving a detailed account before investigators had even finished their initial questions.
What was her mindset last time you talked to her?
I just know she's been trying to get away. She's been telling me she's going to Canada.
Trying to get away, okay. Canada, she's been real depressed lately?
Her dad is crazy.
Liam described Sarah as unstable and desperate to escape. On its surface, it was a believable account. Liam delivered it calmly, confidently, and in a way that pointed investigators firmly away from him and toward the idea that Sarah had simply chosen to vanish. Investigators sat with him a second time a few days later and pushed deeper into the details of her life and the last afternoon he claimed to have spent with her.
Does she ever talk about liking guys or?
Not that I know of.
Girls?
No. She has been known to obsess over girls in the past, though. One of my ex-girlfriends, a few years ago, she was completely obsessed with her right around the time her mom had cancer and was dying.
Liam also told investigators that on the afternoon of December 2nd, he had gone to Sarah's house, helped her pack some of her things, eaten together, and then left for his shift at work. He said he never saw her again after that. A neighbor's security camera confirmed that he had left the house that afternoon, just as he described. There was nothing obviously wrong with his account, but the investigators kept listening, and what Liam said next gave them pause. They pressed him directly on whether Sarah had given any indication of what she might do that night, and his response revealed something that did not fit with the grief of a worried friend.
I give you the opportunity, okay?
Yeah.
To be ahead of all of this.
Mm-hmm.
If she provided you with information, if she told you something, if she told you that she was going somewhere, if she told you that she was going to do something, you need to tell us. Did she tell you she was going to jump off the bridge?
No. If she had told me that she was going to jump off the bridge, there would have been no way that I could have gone to work that night. I went to work and I had one of the best nights of my life.
He claimed he had gone to work and had one of the best nights of his life. He said there was no way he could have functioned that way if he had known something was wrong. Then Liam turned the conversation around and asked the investigators a question of his own, one that no grieving friend searching for answers would typically think to ask.
She did jump off the bridge. What are the odds that she's not somewhere all the way out in the ocean by now?
A person who believes their friend may have gone to Canada does not ask about where a body might end up. That is a question that comes from knowing exactly what happened at that bridge and hoping the river finished the job. The investigators had no physical evidence yet and no grounds to hold him. But Liam was not done talking. In the same conversation, he volunteered a piece of information that would quietly become the most important detail in the entire case.
Stay in the car?
Yeah.
What did she tell you she was stopping at the bank for?
Something to do with her money. I don't know. She had found money in the Avalon house a few months ago. And, she has a lockbox full of money in there. She said that it must have belonged to her mother. What she thought was her mom left it for her, hid it in the house, so if her dad were to take her money, she would still have money left for her by her mom. That's
how much money?
She said it could be from 20 grand to 100 grand. She wasn't sure. Well, she told me the condition of the money was pretty bad, like it was all stuck together. Well, it was old bills, so that could have been a reason for not knowing.
Did she give you any of the money?
No.
Sarah's late mother had left behind a sum of cash hidden in the house. Liam knew the amount, the location, and what Sarah had been planning to do with it. He offered this information unprompted, which at the time appeared to be the detail of a close friend, someone trusted with her private plans. It would later become clear that this was not a detail he had learned through friendship. It was the reason Sarah was dead. Weeks passed, then months. The case had effectively stalled. Sarah's body had not been found. Physical evidence was scarce, and without something more concrete, the investigation was running out of road. Then a mutual friend named Anthony came forward. He had heard things from Liam, things that he could not reconcile with the version of events Liam had given the police, and he went to the investigators. Working with law enforcement, Anthony agreed to meet with Liam wearing a hidden recording device. Plan was simple. Let Liam talk way he talked when he believed no one official was listening. Before that conversation could begin, Liam did something that told investigators everything about his state of mind. He checked Anthony for a wire.
I gotta feel you up real quick, all right? You're good. No disrespect. I'll show you. No disrespect, okay? Nothing. Yeah, I got the FBI on my ass, dude. I had planned Sarah's situation for me to be interrogated by cops. Like, that was whole part of my plan, to make me look not guilty. And the worst part is, we threw her off the bridge, and the body never showed up. It's probably frozen. It's probably all the way out in the ocean.
He found nothing. He was wrong, and from that point forward, every word Liam spoke was being captured. What he said next, details, sequence, and tone, would form the foundation of the prosecution's case against him.
We went to the bank. She took some money out, not all of her money. We're counting it out, and then she goes to walk out the front door. I choke her out, drag her. My biggest problem was the dog, and her dog laid there and watched as I killed her. Didn't do anything. I pretty much hung her, and it took me a half an hour to kill her. Set a timer, and it took me like a half an hour after I hit start on the timer.
He had gone to work that same evening to build an alibi, leaving the body in the care of his accomplice while he finished his shift. Stopwatch function on his phone, found activated at 4:15 p.m. on December 2nd on Sarah's front lawn, had puzzled investigators for months. It no longer did. Liam continued describing what happened after he finished work that night, when the two of them drove to bridge.
I got up on top of the bridge to throw her off, My plan was I was going to throw her off, run over, jump over the divider, and get into Preston's car. And then cars start coming up. I see, like, headlights coming. I try to get her over, and I can't.
He had underestimated how exposed Bridge was and how difficult the moment would be. He had acted in a panic when he saw oncoming headlights. When it was done, he crossed to his accomplice's car, and they drove away. Anthony then asked him the question that cuts through everything else in this case. Why? Why do this to someone he had known his entire life?
The worst part of it is I thought I was walking out 50 grand, 100 grand in my pocket. She had one safe, and she took money out, and she only had 10 grand. And this money, I don't know if it was burnt or something. It's fucking old money, terrible quality. I didn't even get a quarter of it. So you only got like, what, 7 grand?
He had expected to walk away with a small fortune and felt cheated by what he actually found. He spoke about it way someone talks about a deal that fell through, not about a person he had known since he was 6 years old. Sarah Stern had been reduced, in his thinking, to a financial transaction, and he was disappointed with the return. He had not done this alone. Preston Taylor had known Sarah just as long as Liam had. He had even taken her to junior prom. He was Liam's roommate, and the recording made clear that he had been involved from very beginning. Day after the recording was handed over to police, both men were arrested. When investigators sat down with Preston, they told him they already knew what had happened. They wanted to understand why. Preston did not make them work hard for the truth.
What we're most interested in knowing, not necessarily what happened, because we already know that. We want to know why it happened. All right? We want to know why Liam did what he did. What did he do? He killed Sarah. Okay? And we know you know that. Right? We know that.
He confirmed his role, confirmed Liam's role, and then confirmed the detail that removed any possibility of this being anything other than deliberate.
Did he tell you ahead of time that he was going to do this?
Yeah.
How long do you think that he planned to do this?
About a month. It wasn't too serious at first. The first time he told me about it, him and Sean came into Clancy's where I was working, and he just said, like, no intentions at this time, but Sarah just found a bunch of money, and that was it. And then it wasn't until about a month or two later he said that he was coming up with the idea, taking her out and then find somewhere to dispose of the body.
Liam had first mentioned the money to Preston weeks before Sarah died. He had described what he was thinking about doing, and Preston had not stopped him. Over time, that conversation became a plan. The plan became a timeline, and timeline became December 2nd. In the weeks after Sarah went missing, both men had attended vigils. They had spoken to her family. They had helped with the search, all while knowing exactly where she was and why she could not be found. When Preston agreed to walk the investigators back to the bridge, he showed them the precise location where everything had ended.
How was Sarah's body positioned in this bathroom?
She was sitting like this, tucked into the corner and leaning over the toilet.
Okay, and her feet were where?
Sticking out into the room.
The river had carried her out toward the ocean, just as Liam had anticipated when he asked the police, months earlier, whether a body could wash out to sea. Sarah's remains were never recovered, but the absence of her body was not the absence of a case. In court, Liam's defense argued that the recorded conversation with Anthony was fiction, that he had been describing plot of a film, improvising a story, and that none of it reflected what had actually happened. Jury had the recording. They had Preston's testimony. They had the walkie-talkies Liam and Preston used to coordinate that night. They had the buried safe containing money in the same worn, deteriorated condition as the bills still inside Sarah's bank deposit box. And they had the phone recovered from Sarah's lawn, its stopwatch locked on 4:15 p.m., moment Liam had started counting. Before the verdict, the jury heard from Liam one final time, not in court, but through the words he had spoken on that hidden recording when he thought the only person listening was a friend.
I don't feel any different, and I don't think about it. You always think you're going to try these new things and you're going to change, but it didn't change. It just doesn't do anything.
Jury found him guilty on every count: first-degree murder, first-degree robbery, felony murder, conspiracy to commit robbery, desecration of human remains, hindering and tampering with evidence. Preston had already pleaded guilty and received 18 years, with the possibility of parole after 15. He apologized in court. Liam offered no such statement. Then came Liam's sentence.
So on count 1, murder in the first degree, it's life imprisonment without the possibility of parole.
Liam McAtasney was sentenced to life in prison without any possibility of release. He had murdered a girl he had known since first grade, planned it over the course of a month, and then attended her vigil. Sarah Stern was 19 years old. She had lost her mother, navigated a difficult home life, and had been quietly saving money toward a future she never reached. Her body was never found. Her family continues to carry that with them. But her story did not disappear the way her killers had hoped it would. It was preserved, word for word, on a recording that Liam McAtasney had no idea was running, and in the end, his own voice was what put him away for life.